Ready? We're so excited to welcome everybody to Raleigh for the Sir Walter Mile.
Yeah, this is kind of the calm before the storm. As you know, everything gets really rocking on Friday, but it's nice for the diehards to come out tonight and talk to some of the athletes. We're going to try to keep this fun, keep it to an hour. And before we go too far, we want to thank Hartwell for having us, and we want to thank Dina Lewis with Running Mate for sponsoring this event and bring her on up to talk about Running Mate. So let's give a hand to Dina Lewis. And guys, Dina has a cool story that we're going to talk about, but let's just say she's been on Shark Tank, so this will probably feel a little easier.
You did have to tell everybody that.
So again, Dina's been around all week, which is really fun promoting your app, which is called Running Mate, which is a really cool thing if you are looking for somebody to run with, whether it's you're going around Raleigh for the first time or you're want somebody to run with to feel a little bit safer. But tell us a little bit about the app, how it kind of came to fruition, and why you're kind of touring around.
Yeah, so first of all, thanks for having me. We're here tonight to support all of you guys, and I have to say, huge admiration. I do distance, not speed, so I can't wait to see the event Friday night. I'm excited. But no, I've been a runner for 20 years. I've done ultras, marathons. I've done 2 triathlons. In the course of my 20 years of running, I've actually been physically assaulted twice. I suffered a pretty significant sexual assault in 2010, never ever talked about it, pretended like it didn't happen, went on about my life. And then some years later, it happened again. And so I was in corporate America, traveling all over, have kids, like had my life. And the second time it happened, I just wanted to fix it. I didn't know how, I didn't know why it kept happening. I didn't know what to do. I did all the things that like society told us to do. I stopped running in the dark. I carried pepper spray. I shared my location. Like I was doing all the things. And it still happened. So I actually started looking for a solution because I just didn't want to have to go through that again. And I couldn't find it. And so I thought, well, I mean, why not create it? Besides being in corporate America, I had owned other companies previously. So I started kind of just thinking about what could this look like and started doing a lot of research, and statistics show that we reduce our risk of something happening if we're with somebody. Now, I'll be the first to say I hate running with people. That's like my time. And I had small kids, and that was when I got away from it. And so, yeah, so running with somebody didn't initially intrigue me. But when I did the research, I just realized that it had to include that somehow, some way. But it had to be on our terms, meaning we had to be able to control the pace, we had to be able to control the distance, and quite honestly, we had to be able to control whether or not we even wanted to talk to the person that we were running with. So almost making it transactional. And I was in an Uber one day for work, and the light bulb went off. I'm like, we get in Ubers every single day. Why can't we have something like this for people who run? And that's when the idea really took a turn. It wasn't just about keeping women safe, it was about bringing people together. And we were coming off of COVID and realizing how bad we all needed to be back together again. And so the whole idea morphed from just strictly a female runner safety app to really kind of bringing people together to run on their own terms. You know, you can look on the platform, you can see who's available, you get to read their profile, and you actually get to choose who you run with. So it is somewhat transactional, but also fun. And we've launched now, we started out in only 3 cities in the US. Now we're in over 20 cities. Raleigh has been so kind and so generous. Crank Arm was one of our first run clubs that we ran with. And they kicked us off in Raleigh and have been a huge supporter in this community. So, yeah.
They kicked us off the other night too.
Yeah.
Nice party, Derek.
Yeah, yeah. So they've been wonderful. But yeah, so here we are. We're in Raleigh. We like to call a market live when we have 75 people signed up as mates on the platform. And so we can officially say that you can find us here in Raleigh. So, yeah.
So tell if somebody wanted to be a mate here in Raleigh, would they go to getrunningmate.com? Would they go to the app? What would they do?
Yeah, so you can we're on the App Store, Android. You can download either. We've got the QR code back here. but you can find us under Get Running Mate, social media, everything is Get Running Mate. So you can sign up however. You can sign up to be a runner or a mate. The great news is we've made some recent really big updates because we listen to our audience, and you can toggle. One thing I didn't mention is if you're a mate, you actually get paid. So it's very much like Uber. It's transactional. So if you are a mate, we always tell people be a mate where you live and become a runner when you travel. Because if you don't know the area that you're in, it's kind of fun to go run with somebody who does. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for telling us about it. What's your prediction for tomorrow, Dina?
What do you mean?
Who's going to win? What's the
Oh,
time going
gosh.
to be? Give us anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even want to go there. That'll set a goal. I don't know. Yeah.
Now, we want to ask you one thing. You know, you're traveling all around to push this. You're obviously very passionate about this. Like, what's the next step with what you're doing?
Well, besides launching in cities, my true passion is we do a lot of education. Because using the app is one thing, but that again was never my full purpose. Our purpose is educating women on how to stay safe. And so we do have this whole education piece. We'll be back here September 29th, actually, doing a full safety panel. We have 4 pillars that we base that on. It is all scientific. This isn't hop on social media and fearmonger people. This is truly scientific data that we use. Personal protection, situational awareness, self-defense. And then our 4th pillar this year we added was understanding conditioning cues. Because for a lot of women, we don't realize that we become targets just based on certain things that we do, even our kindness. And within 3 seconds, an assailant can figure out whether or not we're an easy target. So we brought that cue in this year to talk about so women can better understand their environment a little bit better besides just situational awareness. So that's really next steps for us. Shark Tank was fun. It did help kind of get the message out there, which really was what we were hoping for and looking for. But we'll launch another 8 cities in 2027.
Cool.
Wait, who is your favorite shark?
They were all tough. I mean, no, I can't really say not anyone in particular. They were very nice.
The production assistants, yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. The producer was pretty great. Yeah.
Well, I was watching on Tuesday. Is it Wednesday? Tuesday, yeah. I thought it was cool. Y'all were doing the pepper spray demos. I was glad it was water because when you were explaining it, I was like, I think this is going to hurt my eyes. But,
No, pure water.
yeah, good things to know, and really cool that you're doing this. Any passion projects about running and safety, I think we can all agree on is a good thing. So
Thank you.
thank you, Dina. Thank you, running
No,
mate.
thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, we'll be there.
All right, we're gonna do groups of 2 as we go tonight. It's gonna be like the high school dance, right? Boys, girls, good times.
We're gonna keep them separate.
Yes.
Yeah. Who are we bringing up first?
I think we're gonna bring the Flagstaff boys up. The Twin Towers, Davis Bove, and Carson Williams, the local hero. Come on up, guys.
Oh my gosh, this is so funny. I have to kick it off with this. Have a seat, guys. So Carson and Davis. I host another podcast called the Relay Podcast. And at the end of the podcast, we were talking about the Sir Walter Mile. And I was like, I can't be a host family because I have 4 boys.
Yes,
And they're 7, 9, 11, and 14. And my friend Peter was like, oh no, you get those Flagstaff guys in there and they'll be throwing your kids on the trampoline. They'll be trying to stay up late playing video games with them. So you guys were the guys that the relay team thought would be the best fit for a host family with 4 boys. I don't know, how do you feel about getting categorized that way?
I think that's probably fair. Definitely this guy.
What's that supposed to mean?
You're always up
No,
for
okay.
a little video games with some kids.
Yeah.
I don't
We play
know.
all sorts.
Davis told me, Carson, that you're the chillest guy, and the way you like to unwind is watching golf on YouTube.
As a matter of fact, before we came here, he was watching golf on YouTube.
I've seen Lindsey's kids. They might be able to take you.
Might not be the best for you. We're so excited to have you guys here, though. How does it feel to be in Raleigh, and how do you feel coming to the Sir Walter Mile this year?
It's cool. Yeah, I mean, I just got in today, but this is my first time at the meet, so I'm really excited. I heard it's going to be fast, So I think that'll be cool. Seems like a good vibe.
Yeah, for sure. It's always good to be back in the hometown. It's been really fun having Davis here, getting to show him around a little bit, and then yeah, coming to the race, just super excited. It's always a good crowd and a lot of energy, so it's gonna be good.
I have a question for you, Carson, because we're proud of you as a local Raleigh guy running Diamond Leagues. I asked you this last year. I'm gonna ask you again. Did you want to come or did your mom make you?
Probably a little bit of both. Yeah, she gets mad like, oh, you're racing too far away and never get to see you. So it's always good to come back and race nearby. So
Tell us about racing the mile versus racing the steeple.
oh yeah, I mean, I am a steeplechaser, so I love the steeplechase, but the mile is like it's kind of like a guilty pleasure kind of situation where it's just so much fun. Like, when you run a steeplechase, it's a lot of kind of grind and positioning and that kind of stuff. And so when I run a mile, it's just full gas and just fun. So I really enjoy getting one in definitely at the end of the season too. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
And we'll give you credit. I heard from our teammate Will Venable that Carson was spotted at Olmsted this morning running with the Cardinal Gibbons team. So
That is true. Yeah, had to get back to the local high school. So
did you go along for that, Davis, or you had enough time in high school?
To go run with my high school teammates.
With Carson's high school.
Oh, I wasn't here this morning, but I heard they went at 7 a.m. So I might have still
yeah,
been
they're
asleep.
a little dedicated. I wasn't.
Yeah,
wasn't
7
thrilled about
a.m.
that.
What would that be in Flagstaff? Like 4 or 5 a.m.?
Yeah, maybe 4. So a little early.
Okay, so Davis, I was looking at your history and I got to learn about your triathlon background. So talk to us about that transition from triathlon to pro running specifically.
Yeah, so I obviously you have to run in a triathlon. So it wasn't like I was picking up something completely new. But I when I went to college to run, a big thing that I had to look out for was where were they going to let me compete in triathlon. Because ultimately my goal was to be an Olympic triathlete coming out of high school. And so that was a big part of my college career in running was like I was swimming I went to LSU and I was swimming with the swim team and balancing, going to the track meets, but like my main season was kind of like after that I wanted to do well in the triathlons. But at some point I realized that racing for like 3.5 minutes sounded a lot better than racing for an hour or 2 hours. So yeah, it's been like an interesting transition. I still train a lot like a triathlete, but also if you ask Carson, he'd probably tell you I probably have a little bit of ADHD. So focusing for like
more than a little bit.
yeah, something like that. But the focusing for 3.5 minutes is a little bit easier for me, or a little bit longer for the mile, but and having to kind of focus for that long in a triathlon. But yeah, it's been a good transition. They've really taken care of me the last couple of years and taking things kind of like a little bit slower. So
I imagine you're like the least injured runner ever if you're still cross training.
That is not true.
Yeah, I wish that was true. I never really was injured before, but I've had like a rough 18 months, I would say. So it's been very useful that I could cross train. But we're getting there. Yeah. Unfortunately, probably more on the injury side. But I think that's just because I didn't run as much before. Now I'm like trying to get, more mileage in.
All right, Carson, you've recently been abroad running some Diamond League meets. What was a good time for you over there in Europe?
Yeah, it was super fun just kind of being able to race the circuit and really just do a lot of learning. And being around some of my like older teammates who had been around and done a lot of racing in Europe too is super helpful because they were just kind of there to show me the ropes and just I really wanted to focus on the season and I didn't really know exactly where that would take me, but just on gaining as much experience as I could. It being a non-world championship year and there's no world ultimate steeple, so there really wasn't like a massive goal at the end of the season. It was just kind of USA's and we'll see what happens. So I really wanted to take the time to see how much experience I could gain, racing the circuit and being in, uncomfortable environments. And so that's what we did. And it was super fun. I mean, I had the time of my life just, moving around and going to different places and running fast races. So yeah, I couldn't really imagine a much better like summer than the way it went, especially, given the context of the year.
Sure.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you guys are with Mission Dark Sky, and so I'd love to hear about the decision to train with that team, working with Stephen Haas, what's that like, and just share a little bit about that.
Yeah, I guess I got there a little bit before Carson, but it was I didn't have a lot of different opportunities coming out of college, so I was pretty grateful that I got any opportunity to keep running. But yeah, he wears a lot of hats. You know, he's our agent and our coach and a lot of other people's agents as well. So he you know, like I would say he's one of the most impressive people I've ever been around. I think he's very hardworking, and so when he's at practice and we're there, like I think the energy kind of like really shows that you know we all respect him a lot. So I think though that with his role it helps us to as teammates really look out for each other because there's sometimes where he's not at practice, and so it's kind of like typically where you might have like the coach tell you like you need to kind of come back a little or do this. It's like we kind of have each other's back in that way. So I think we're really close as a team. It's a really big team. The altitude is really hard, but we have a lot of fun. So I think that's like the biggest thing is we're all really close as teammates. Everyone looks out for each other, and we make sure to have a lot of fun too.
Yeah, I agree with everything that Davis just said. For me personally, there was a relationship between Stephen Haas and my college coach, which is kind of how I got connected. But ever since I've been out there, it's just been an unbelievable experience. I mean, like David said, we have a pretty big team, and there's a lot of like really seasoned veteran type of people who have been around the block, been in world finals, Olympic finals, that kind of stuff, and have seen all the things that we're striving for and aspiring for. So it's really kind of comforting to know that like those guys are looking out for you, and they just want to like be there for you and give you advice and help you along the journey because they either had somebody do that for them when they were younger or they didn't, and they want to be that person. And so yeah, it's just been an incredible experience, just learning from all those older guys.
Cool. All right, last question, guys. You can kind of answer it however you want. What's your goal for tomorrow night? Whatever, you know what I mean, Alan. Smart guy. Friday night.
Carson, you can go ahead.
My goal is to beat Davis.
Well, I guess my goal is to make Carson's goal not happen. No, I think we probably just want to, run a fast time and try to win, just like any race.
Hey, fair enough. All right, thanks, guys. Davis and Carson, thanks for kicking it off.
I think I saw for some video games, so just let me know.
It's in a video game.
14 girls.
All right, let's see. Who's here? Is everybody here? Are we waiting on anybody? Jeff?
Kaley,
Okay.
free of the Bloomberg.
Okay. I see Teagan. Teagan, come on. Heather, let's go. Yeah. Welcome, guys. Teagan Schein-Becker
Hello, ladies.
and Heather MacLean.
Yes, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
So happy to have you here. We're doing well.
Thanks for having us. Thanks so much for having us.
A returning Sir Walter athlete. Is this your first Sir Walter?
This is my first year.
Okay. How does it feel? How do you feel being here?
I'm so excited. Like I've had good opportunities in Raleigh from the Raleigh relays, so I want to keep that momentum here.
Yeah, we love that. And Heather, welcome back. You were part of our historic race a couple of years ago that we did not do at the time. Maybe Jeff did, but you were third in a race that was the fastest women's mile on American soil at the time. So pretty good. Can we do that again?
Yeah, I hope so. That'd be awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me back. It's always great to be back in Raleigh.
Yeah, Heather, I'd love to hear you talk. You have so much experience on like the national and the world level. And I'd love to hear you talk about like why Sir Walter is such a fun race to come do.
Oh, it's a good question. I think it's the uniqueness of this race. Like, staying with the host family. I stayed with Melissa last time and Jason too, and it was just an amazing experience. I had such a fun time at the race outside of just the race happening, and then showing up to the race and just seeing the atmosphere. We don't even get that atmosphere at USA sometimes. So it's really just exciting. It's fun to be a part of, and yeah, it's just cool, really cool that you guys make this happen. And yeah, when I can make it work, I love being back here, and so I'm very excited and honored to be back again as part of the field.
And Teagan, you're kind of new to it, but you have to do something for us on Friday night. Is you got to join the sub 430 club. Are you ready to do this?
T-shirt, yes. Oh my gosh, yeah, I don't even have a t-shirt. Yeah, I didn't quite make it to Sir Walter last year, so when I got the text that I was in, I was like, oh my gosh, good, because this was like definitely on my bucket list, especially because you guys are known for the fast miles. Like everybody's gonna come here and PR. So yeah, no, I'm very excited to be here. And then I was watching the YouTube videos, the race facts, and all the replays are like insane. How everybody lines up all around the track. It's just so electric. So I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, Sir Walter is known for being like a very fast race. Maybe talk a little bit about what it's like being in a race where you're just racing. You're not thinking about time. You're trying to run as fast as you can. How does that compare to different kinds of races?
Yeah, I think like you're just more in it and you're just not thinking. I mean, sometimes we get stuck on looking at the clock and we're just checking, like seeing where we're at. But like when you're just really in the moment, you kind of surprise yourself with times. I think like that happens the most when you PR because you're just competing against people and you're just trying to get to the line as fast as you can and see if you can win things. So I think anytime that you're going in it, trying to win or place as high as you can, you surprise yourself.
Yeah, I think Heather, you ran a 417 indoors, and like when you're running that fast, like how much are you like watching the clock, or are you just like locked in?
Honestly, it's exactly the race that you guys were talking about. Like my only goal in that race was to get the worlds or whatever the standard was for worlds at the time because I didn't have it. I think it was like 423 or 424. And so I had a pacer, which was nice, of course, but I like wasn't looking at the clock. Like I wasn't like looking at the pace lights or anything like that. I was kind of just like, you know what, I'm in good shape. I'm just gonna see what I can do. I kind of just sat on the pacer, which, like I feel like in the 1500 today, it's pretty rare to like someone to say, you always have like that one person. It's usually like Faith in our races who's like sitting on the pacer. So I'm like, all right, well, I don't know if I'm quite ready to go in for flat shape today, but yeah, so I think that it was just like the perfect, it kind of brings you back to a time when you were running in high school and you were running just for the joy of it and like just to win, and you cared about time at the time, but like there wasn't pace lights, there wasn't pacers, like it was just you and like the race and that was it. And so yeah, it was, you just feel it's like a free experience.
And when you finished that race, in case you guys didn't know, Heather set the American record in route during that race in the 1500 meters. Was that just like the cherry on top, or what?
Yeah, I didn't even know until like midnight that night. But it was actually funny because that was a race with pace lights. And I don't ever look at the pace lights. Now I do because I was finishing the race and someone's like, you're ahead of the pace, you're ahead of the pace. And I was ahead of the pace lights, which I thought were at like the mile record. So, the last 100, I'm like, oh my God, maybe I'm going to get the mile record. I just had no idea. But that was the only time the pace lights were wrong. So now me and the pace lights kind of have beef. But at the time, I'm like, I don't care. It doesn't matter because
Now,
it's just gonna
when
stay.
you said you found out at midnight, was it because you got like a knock on the door saying drug testing's here?
Yeah, I got like a screenshot of like the finish or like the 1500 split from my coach or something. So they must have. I think they took an official split. I don't really know how it works when you do like in a mile and you take an official split in 15, but they
You can do that at this
until
meeting.
later. Oh yeah,
By the
that's
way,
exciting.
and we have pace lights this time. I know you sounds like you hate pace lights, but.
A lot of research into the pace light, and so I feel like we'll all be very well informed at the technical meeting tomorrow. Maybe I wasn't.
Yes, Jeff and Steve will tell you all you need to know. Yes.
Oh my gosh, a moment for the 417. That is so fast. I love to rewatch races of people that I'm about to interview. And so I was like, okay, Heather MacLean's going to be on the stage. I'm going to go rewatch when she qualified for the Olympics in 2021. And I don't know if y'all remember that race, but she was third and like the most patient race I've ever seen. Like you were hanging back, hanging back, hanging back, and you come up to get third place. And so I wonder if you can talk a little bit about having patience in the race, but also in your career, because since then you've had some ups and downs and you have to have patience.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a very good like way to put it. I've always been told, I feel like by coaches, you just really never know what's going to happen. The last 200, the last 300 of the race. And in that race in particular, I was kind of an underdog coming in, or like I was like definitely an underdog coming in. Like I had like Jenny Simpson ahead of me. I'm like, right, well, but yeah, I just put myself in it and stay focused on like, my own race and my own pace. And I didn't get caught up in like, all the movement that was going on early on. And I think that's definitely, I've had like, that was honestly a good reminder from you guys, like to stay patient because yeah, I have had some ups and downs since then, like with injury or sickness or just like health issues and whatever. And you really can't help a lot of those things. Like some of the things you have control of, but a lot of it you don't. And you just kind of have to trust and that what you're doing is still going to translate. Like it's easy for when you get injured or when you're sick or whatever, or you have like low iron, for instance, to be like, oh, is all this work even counting towards anything right now if it's not translating? But I feel like you just have to trust that it will eventually. And yeah, that's like I'm in the process of that right now. So you're always relearning how to trust again and relearning how to be patient. And yeah, sometimes it's hard because you're like, oh, it feels like everyone else is just like going up and up and up. But I like to believe God gives his toughest battles to his strongest warriors. But I'm like done being a warrior. So but
Somebody give you the footprints poster.
makes good stories, I guess.
Teagan, speaking of kind of what Heather was just talking about, watching your race at prelims at USA's, there's the interview where David Monty, the sweetest guy in the sport, comes up to you. He's like, "Was that the race of your life?" Like, how do you answer something like that? Number one, you answered it very well, but like, how much do you think David Monty's watching your races?
Well, I mean, I hope that's not the race of my life because I hope I have many more races in my
Here,
life.
here,
But,
yeah.
but yeah, like at the moment, yes, like that was a really good in the direction that I want to be. That was it, and like hopefully more comes from that. But I think like in the last year, there's been like a lot of navigating and learning how to be a pro and how to compete at the pro level. And I think like mentally, I was being held back by those thoughts. So yeah, I think like this year, like we focused a lot with the coaching staff and the sports site to just like not put too much pressure on it. Just be there, exist in the race and find my spot and be more flexible about everything. And that's exactly what I did in the prelim. And I tried to execute that in the final too. And those things have been like really working out for me this year.
So do the same thing Friday night, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it seemed like that race is a very big like stepping stone for you, or maybe like even a jump or a leap. If 4:04, that's really fast.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel? Like what kind of confidence does that give you going into this next part of the season?
Yeah, it gives me a lot of confidence. We've been putting a lot of stepping stones into the season, and I feel like I've had a really like big turnaround in the last, honestly, like 7 weeks. And from there, I feel like gained all this confidence that should have been there the whole time, but it just wasn't because sometimes you just need like one race for it to click, and then you're like, oh, well, that's been there the whole time, but like you just needed the proof. So I think we've been getting a lot of the proof and then like putting it all together. And the more you put it together, the more you surprise yourself. So I've been liking to walk away with like some of the surprises, but not to be too surprised because you want to know like, oh, I've been working for this. I can do this. So yeah, I think it's really exciting to like know that I'm confident enough to be here and be able to race at the level that I want to compete at.
I just have to say, like, it is so cool to see so many young athletes running Sir Walter this year. And sitting here on the stage with you now, I've been hosting these podcasts for a decade now. And so it's so cool to catch someone at the very front end of their career. Similar to like I got to interview Heather early on and like to see all that's going to happen in these next 5-10 years with your career is just we're so excited for you and we're so happy that Sir Walter is a race that you've chosen to do.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So sweet.
And Heather, I had a question for you, kind of similar to what Teagan was just talking about. You've seen it, you've done it, you've had a lot of success. What would you tell the young Heather MacLean that's right out of UMass, first like year or two in the pros, like don't do that or do this?
It's a good question. I mean, similar to what we were talking about earlier, I would say just be patient and like trust yourself. And I think similar to what Teagan was saying, it's like this sport is very mental sport. I think people don't understand that because it's like, oh, just go run. But there's a lot that goes into that, and you need to trust yourself. You need to trust the steps that you're going to take. And like sometimes you need to trust that if you take a big leap, that it might not always work out every time. And that A doesn't define you, but B doesn't mean that next time you take that leap, it won't work out too. Like next time you take the leap, maybe it will work. Next time you pick too early, like maybe it'll pay off, you know? And so, yeah, I think I would tell like me coming out of college, yeah, you just got to be patient. And if you have a goal set, just like keep your eyes on that goal and like don't focus on everything else. Like logistics are logistics. You're going to need to figure out how to get there. But I think as long as you don't lose sight of that. And, you know, when I first came out of college I didn't have a contract. Like I was really lucky to have an opportunity to run with the New Balance Boston girls, but I was still in my master's program. So I was commuting back and forth to Boston from UMass, which is about 2.5 hours, like waking up at 4 to drive to practice to get there at 9 in traffic, like just to be able to work out with these amazing athletes. And I remember every time on the drive, I'd be like, this is going to pay off. This is going to pay off. Like, this is all going to work out. And I'm getting so much stronger. I'm gaining so much experience from this. And like, even the races when I was first pro that I got dead last in, or even the races now where I like, and don't do well in, I'm like, it's okay. Like, the one thing about me is I'm like never afraid to have a bad race, because you can learn so much from a bad race. Like you can learn a lot from a good race too, but I think a bad race is a good opportunity for you just to kind of refocus and be like, okay, what are these things I need to work on? What are the things I can control for next time? So yeah, just be patient and like, yeah, believe in yourself, believe in your goals, and just, yeah.
Sage advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can apply that to anything we do. So thank you. Well, let's give a hand to Teagan and Heather for coming on it. All right, next up, let's get some more dude energy up here. I can see Waleed. Where's Eric? Eric and Waleed, come on up.
Ooh, they've got a former Sir Walter champion
That's right.
coming to the
A
stage.
champion and a 5-timer. Yeah.
Oh,
East Coast, West Coast, right here.
Thanks for being here. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Thank you for having us.
Good, not bad. Okay. Oh, this is one.
Get in there. Get in there.
It's fine.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I think
I take it.
You got it, Waleed? Give me some bass. Yeah.
Wait, Wally, do you feel a pressure being like a former champion coming back here?
not really. No, I don't feel much pressure now. Actually, it feels good coming in here because it's like, there's that weird sensation and feeling of like, I know what I have to do. So, yeah.
Are you sure that's not just your bed swaying on the houseboat?
Yeah,
A weird
it's probably not.
sensation.
Just right here, it feels the same.
If y'all didn't know, Waleed and Kaley DeLay, who's here or is going to be here, they live on a houseboat outside Seattle. So I think that's a unique training mechanism, but maybe you're onto something.
We actually live in the heart of Seattle.
There you
Which is
go.
kind of funny, but downtown Seattle is like a 5-minute walk. So
Wow.
it's not that far enough.
Okay, so that's a good segue to you training with the Brooks Beasts.
Yes.
Okay, tell us a little bit about working with that team and Danny Mackey and what that environment is like.
Yeah, I just entered my 5th year with the Beast. So I'm officially an old head. So, but yeah, no, I've been loving it. I joined immediately out of college in 21. And, you know, been lucky enough that I had a bunch of other different opportunities, but, you know, at the end, I decided to go with the Beast because it just felt like what I was looking for, a team, something that felt kind of like a family as well too. And Seattle was just a place that I always felt like I wanted to visit eventually and like live in, and you know, lives up to the hype. I love being there, and you know, I love being with the Beast as well. And Danny, like he's just, you know, very knowledgeable about what he's doing. And then alongside of Danny, there's a huge crew of people that support us as well. We have 2 assistant coaches. We have an athletic trainer that travels with us all the time, and we have a nutritionist as well. So it's a really big team, and you know, when an opportunity like that is presented to you, it's really hard to pass down. So yeah.
And Eric, in a similar situation for you, you've been with Empire for a long time.
Yes.
What's going on up there? How long have you been with the group?
I joined in late 2020, so it was kind of like an accident. What happened was it was like during COVID. I was like basically at the time like I didn't really plan on running post college, and I think there was like a COVID challenge where you was seeing how fast you could run a 2 mile, and I think I ran in like 9:20, and it came out as like 8:40. And at the time, Tom Nohilly was a coach, and he commented on my Strava. He's like, "Wow, you're in great shape. You should come train with us." And I was like, "All right." And then I kind of like trained. I was working a full-time job, and I remember I was working out with a runner named Johnny Gregoric, and I was able to like keep up with him. And I was like, "Wait, I'm keeping up with a 3:49 miler. Maybe I can actually be pretty good at this." And I went from having a PR of 3:45 to 3:36 and made the Olympic trials. And every year I felt like I got a little bit better, and I felt like I had an opportunity that a lot of people don't get. And ever since then, I try to make the best of it, and just keep on getting better. And I remember breaking 4 minutes for the first time ever. Did it post collegiately. And now to have an opportunity to, maybe break 350 is incredible. And I remember no one in New York history has ever done it. So to be potentially the first New Yorker to do it would be unbelievably. So, that's, it feels special. So I just try to take, granted every choice and opportunity I have. And, yeah.
Sub 350 on Friday.
Let's get a
Hopefully,
best.
I'll
Let's go.
let's see. We'll see,
Yeah, you are known as the people's champ. Tell us more.
I think I just got that moniker because I had a couple pretty big, upsets and victories, and I was very like, prideful of it, and just because, I felt like, for a good portion of my upbringing, I was always an underdog, I always had like cousins, and my dad would always like be big football players or something. And, going into track, I was like, all right, I'll make the best of it. And, I ended up having somewhat of a mediocre college career, but then to actually finally like live up to the potential I always thought I could. And I try to inspire people, and, you got a decent career and did some big things and hope to do a few more.
And Waleed, we were talking about this the other day. You were a veteran of Sir Walter. You ran 351, which was the state record here in 2024. And you said you made a nice quote about why people come to Sir Walter related to BU. Can you remind us what that was?
I forgot. What did I say?
You said if you listen to the Summer of Miles podcast, you would catch this. I remember this, obviously, because it made me feel good. Waleed said Sir Walter is like the BU of outdoor. I was like, yeah, that's right. That's right. Let's go with it. So, but tell people about the year you won. Like, what was going on? You blew everybody out in that last like 150.
Yeah. The plan going into that race was to not be anywhere near the front. Just like sit in the middle. And remember, the gun goes off, and I just found myself to the front and, threw everything out the window and just decided to go with it and see what we could make out of it. I'd like to believe I gave everybody one heck of a run, trying to chase me down. And I think that race is really special to me as in my professional career, because it's my first ever professional win. And like, this is my fourth time at Sir Walter, and this will be my third time racing. I came here exactly 10 years ago with a couple of my friends, drove down from Richmond, Virginia to come and watch it.
Wow, fun fact. Did not know that.
I did, yes. So this place always felt really special to me. And like, just the atmosphere of people being on the track and, being around all of you guys and having close families and stuff like that is something that you don't really get to experience anywhere else the same way it is here. And I think just like with how loud you guys are on the track, I think that's kind of that placebo effect that gives us where it feels like kind of at BU, you're just bound to BR. So
when you came here from Richmond, well, you were a 10-time state champ in high school, which is wild.
yeah.
Impressive. Congratulations. Did you envision like, oh, that I'm going to be with those pros one day?
I did, because I think that year Lopez Lamont won.
Oh, yeah.
And Drew Hunter he just signed his pro contract. And I think
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
that was his first race where his mom wouldn't let him eat at the hot dog truck. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was it was like surreal. At some point I remember there was this like picture of Lamont, like eyes wide open, just running down like the home stretch into the finish line. It's like a picture from up top to bottom. and I had that as like my wallpaper picture on my laptop. As I look at it, it's like
I mean, seriously, shout out Lopez.
Yes,
That
so-
race like put us on the map
know,
for
yeah,
real.
yeah.
Inspired you,
Yeah,
but
so that was
inspired
kind
a
of
lot
it.
of other people, other pros to come run in Raleigh. So
yeah, so
that's
that's
good.
something that I looked at for quite a while, and imagined myself being in this place someday, and happened in 24. Hopefully, happens again on Friday.
Eric, when Waleed's kind of going down memory lane there, it reminds me of the first few years of Sir Walter where we had a heavy NJNY presence. Like
Yeah.
Merber, Gregoric, Ford Palmer was like our first winner. Did those guys kind of inspire you as you were a new guy in that program?
Oh, absolutely. I remember when I first joined, I was the slowest guy on the team, and I felt a lot of pressure because there was some guys like, oh my God, they're accepting anyone on this team now. So I was like, man, I got to prove myself.
You're
I-
just dominating Strava. Hell yeah.
And I remember every workout was like an all-out race, and I was like, oh, I'd rather quit than give up. And I remember one of my teammates was like, if you keep this up, Eric, you're not going to last like more than 2 weeks. And at the time I was working night shift, so I had one day where I do an entire night shift, and I didn't even make it through the warm up. I collapsed, and I was like, oh, I didn't sleep at all last night. I was working, and coach was like, yeah, you got to start doing day shifts. And I'm like,
Isn't that the plot of the Brad Pitt Ricky Schroeder movie, Across the Tracks? Yeah.
so that.
Anybody seen that? Come on. Yeah. There we go. There we go. Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, it's just like it was cool to like go from not that great to eventually like making finals at a lot of USA's, and now I ran 351, 332, so I know I have the capability of breaking through 50, just whether or not it'll happen. And it's cool to like see these guys I always looked up to, and now to have like their PRs or around that is like, very special. It's like, wow, I envisioned it, and, I had a lot of like naysayers, but, I managed to like get to like a really, like fast point is, I'm proud of that. So yeah, it's just like, just to continue the momentum and, and see what happens. And I just want to also say, like, I've been here 5 times, and Tim has hosted me every time. So
Tim,
shout out to
ladies
Tim.
and gentlemen.
Like almost like a family member,
Yeah, Tim's a sweet uncle. Yeah.
Wait, it sounds like you really want to break 350. So like you're gonna go for it Friday, but like are the odds better in a race where you're just like racing all out, or you're like time trialing with a pacer? Like how do you decide when to really go for it?
I mean, I'm trying not to put that much pressure. I feel like when I ran my 1500 PR, I remember I ran in a prelim, and I was just like behind Cole Hocker. And I remember when I finished it, I was like, oh, that was probably like a 335. And it was like 332. And I was like, what? That was a 332? What happened?
Yeah.
I was like, why did we run that fast? It's just a prelim. But sometimes like I feel like you run the best when you just relax and you just glue to someone's back, and you try not to think. I think like the motto is like, think never, just do, just try to like just be brain dead and just run, and try not to have your nerves hold you back. So, because sometimes you want something so bad, it like will stop you from like maybe running well. I don't know, but yeah, just try to like just warm up as best I can, and go for it and see what happens.
Wait, I love that life advice. I feel like we would do a lot more in life if we just led with that.
Yeah.
Did you all know that Waleed has run a 50K?
What?
Did you know? Did anybody know
Is
that?
this the same Waleed?
6 times 5, that's
Yeah.
30 something miles.
It's 32, I think.
Like, tell us more about why did we do that?
I like started this thing where like I like to do something cool for my birthday. Oh, so last year, I don't know what the plan was supposed to be, but like we couldn't do it. So then I just last minute was like, would it be fun if I ran a 50K race?
When you asked that, I'm sure that was not a question to Coach Mack.
No, I told Danny about it. Well, at first I wanted to do the 50 miler. And he was like, you're not allowed to do that. Don't do that. So then I was like, how about 50K? And he kind of was like still not happy with it, but he was like, don't get hurt. And it was fun. I got to go out there, didn't know what was gonna happen. Like I asked a bunch of like we're lucky enough that we're like around HQ, Brooks HQ, and there's a lot of like the trail runners around there. So at lunch I'd go up to them and be like, any advice? And they're just like, a lot of carbs.
Yeah.
I did not take a lot of carbs.
Oh.
I cramped up pretty bad at like mile 31
Oh.
and basically limped it back home. But yeah, it was fine though. I was fine. The next day I went fishing all day, so it was good. But no, it's fun. Kaley was there. She was like supporting, took a couple picture. My girlfriend was there as well too, and a bunch of our other friends. So yeah, it was fun. And then this year we're gonna do Oktoberfest in Berlin or Munich. So I'm excited about that.
Wait, is that a big ring? Is that like a big distance or?
No, it's Oktoberfest.
Oh, that's.
She's like, oh, yeah, that's what
I was like, is this also 50K with us?
Waleed, will you do me a favor and post some Instagram pics of you in that outfit?
Yeah,
Because that's what I want to see.
I'll definitely try to do so because, well, the plan was also I was gonna do another trail race, but it's supposed to be 5 miles. It's
Okay.
climbing up a mountain,
Okay,
but it's on the day that I come back, and my girlfriend was like, "You're not doing that," so I'm not doing that.
okay.
So yeah,
No more ultras for the birthdays, instead celebration.
maybe in a couple of years I would
Okay.
do another ultra. Yeah.
Does any of the other pros here wanna do a 50K with Waleed? No, okay.
You know, I just realized we screwed up. We forgot to ask the crowd if y'all have questions for these guys.
We always ask the
I know. What are we doing here? All right. Who's got a question for Eric?
question. Okay.
What you got, Silas?
You know, the Brooklyn Mile is a good victory. It's always good to have like a good victory before a race like this, especially with like unbelievably world-class competition. You know, most of the fields 352 or faster, so it's great. But I was really happy I had a good post-race workout, and you know, I'm feeling confident, and you know, we'll see. You know, just try our best to have a momentum leading to Friday, and you know, hopefully get if I don't break 350, get the fastest New York time mile, which is actually from Lopez Lemon. It's like 351 flat, so we'll see. Yeah, but using that as momentum. So
I personally like, Eric, how hard you ride for New York. It's like Sandy and I for North Carolina. It's just like you got it down. So, you know.
yeah, it's bad. Like I think at one point I knew almost every New Yorker who broke 4 minutes. Like
So if you break this time, are you going to call them all individually? You'd be like, Mr. Merber, guess what? Mr. Grigori.
Yeah.
Hey, Colby, it's me. Yeah.
But no, yeah, no, I just think like pride in it, you know, it's like a cool thing, you know. I think it was because I always try to be the fastest high school New York miler, but I didn't get that. So I'm like, all right, now I can be the all time.
Wally, do you know where you stack up in the Virginia world?
Well, I have no idea. There's a lot of good runners that came in Virginia. Obviously Drew Hunter is really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Alan Webb.
Oh, yeah, that's probably the one right there.
Probably the one right there. So that's
There you go,
that's
just
a
run
tough one right there.
3:46.9.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
stick on Hobbs and then just go a little deeper.
Yeah.
Whatever Josh did last week in his world record, just do that. Yeah.
That's yes. Like yes, I do need to text him today. Like advice.
We do have both of the winners from the Brooklyn Mile here then, because Maddie Borman is also racing and she also won the Brooklyn Mile.
Shout out BK.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming out again to the Sir Walter. We're looking forward to Friday night. All right, Kaley, Juliette. Are we here? There we go. There we go. Look at you, Juliette. The newest member of the Brooks Beast is wearing the swag. What a good little marketer. Yeah. Yeah.
Beast has brought it this year.
They have, probably because Brooks is a sponsor of our men's race. And so they told them they had to do it. Yeah. Thanks, Chris. And speaking of our women's race sponsored by Trail Ridge Financial, Carl Munn is here. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you ladies for being here. How does it feel to be in Raleigh, about to run the Sir Walter Mile?
Here we go. Good. Yeah, I'm really excited. I've been wanting to do this race for a few years now, so I'm really excited to be here to have the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I love any opportunity to come back to the East Coast and race kind of close to home. And I've always watched this race, and it always seems like an awesome atmosphere and energy. So yeah, I'm excited to use that. Hopefully, run fast.
So Juliette, you just finished up at Sanford. you're now a Brooks Beast. Like, what led you to kind of choose this team? Obviously, they're really hot right now. Everybody's running fast. Kaley's running fast. Josh just broke the world record. Brandon Miller's just crushing it. Like, did you see that? And you're like, yeah, man, that feels good.
Yeah, I think that definitely was like a good attention grabber, but I think the biggest thing for me was like the people in the community that they have there. And I think the fast times that they're running is not at all a coincidence. And I think, the energy and the close, tight-knit kind of atmosphere that they've created there, I feel like has something to do with how fast they're running. And I think if I learned anything about my time at Stanford was that the people make the place. And when I went on my visit to Brooks, I just like fell in love with the team instantly. And I saw myself joining the team and running fast, yes, but like more importantly, having a lot of fun doing it. So yeah, I'm stoked.
Okay, so I want to make sure I'm right on this. You also run the 5,000 and you also run the 800. So we have one swinging up, one swinging down. Talk to us about, I mean, you could both have different answers, obviously, because you specialize in different things, but talk to us about that transition and focusing on the mile.
Yeah, I think obviously like I've had maybe the most success in the 800, but I've always loved going back and forth between 800s and miles or 1500s. It feels really long to me, which is probably not what it feels like for Kaley at all. But yeah, it's always fun to like switch it up, especially like not having kind of the pressure and expectation that I think when I race the 800 it brings. So getting to, change things and kind of run a lot more free and kind of just like, I have no idea what I'm capable of in this event right now. And that's really exciting to me. So yeah.
So fun.
Yeah, my answer is exactly what you'd think it'd be. It's that the mile feels so short to me. And I'm like, wow, that's so nice. But it's a different kind of pain that I have a lot of respect for. So I can't even imagine doing an 800. So, but yeah, I'm really excited. I think also because it's not like what I mainly focus on, I do feel like there's also a little less pressure, which also makes it a little more fun and just like curious to see how it'll go.
Well, Kaley, you've had some recent success, especially with your Win at the Sunset Tour. Have you been focusing more on mile training this year with Mile Fever at Brooks Beast TC?
Not exactly. The 15 was definitely supposed to just be a good race for USA's for me, and it went really, really well. And I'm really glad I ran a good 1500 last summer at the end of the summer, and I definitely have been wanting to do it more, but kind of just set my focus on the 5K USA's. And whatever made sense before is what I was gonna do. But now that USA's is done, I'm like, okay, like back to the shorter. So.
Yeah, 8th place at USA's and the 5,000. How are you walking away from that experience? What did you take from that experience?
Yeah, I definitely went in with bigger goals. Like I was really thinking I could get top 3 in that race. And yeah, on paper, that was probably not what people expected from me, but that was my goal. So I left disappointed. But there was still a lot to gain from it. Just another experience racing in like a championship final. I put my nose in it, like I stuck myself to the front pack and just made it as long as I could. And yeah, I feel like I never have regrets when I race like that. It's always just what can I take away and what can I learn for next year?
Yeah, I think one of the most fascinating things to talk about with pro runners is like those game time decisions and when is it appropriate to take a risk? When do you need to like come back a little bit? Sounds like you took a risk at USA's and you're glad you did.
Yeah, I think for me, especially, or maybe always, like I like to go for top 3. I like to go for wins, even when it's maybe not in my wheelhouse. And I'm not really satisfied with the race that I'm just trying to finish mid-pack and maybe finish it thinking, what if I would have gone out? I don't like that feeling. So I'm more of a go for it and see what happens. And it costs you every now and again.
Juliette, you became an Olympian at a very young age. And you had mentioned like doing this race, being less pressure in the 15 because the 800 is your race that you're known for. How have you handled like the pressures of, okay, now I'm an Olympian and that is on my resume when you go into new races?
Yeah, no, I mean, even 2 years later, it still sounds crazy to hear and to say. And I know coming back to college, especially after Paris, was a big adjustment. Just like, coming back to the collegiate world and having them announce, my name and Olympian and feeling a little bit of imposter syndrome, I'd say. And it was just like a weird kind of, like, yeah, I've done that, but now I'm racing all these really talented collegiate athletes as well. And so with that, it felt like a lot of pressure. But it was really fun. I wouldn't have, a lot of people asked, like, if I ever thought about going pro after Paris, but I'm so glad that I stayed in the NCAA those next 2 years. Like, I learned so much about myself, about racing. Um, and it's like the state of the NCAA right now, it's not like I'm like giving up a lot of talent and like, impressive fields. Like, people are running insane times in the NCAA as well. So yeah, it was never really a question for me.
All right, Kaley, I know that we've been waiting for you to come here for a few years, and you have a target of 4:30 going into this weekend. How are we going to break 4:30?
Definitely going for it. I mean, I think the pace is gonna be hot and it's gonna be, yeah, I mean, I already said my game plan. I'm going for it. So we'll see what happens. I think there's gonna be, I mean, there's a ton of really talented people in the field. So, just being also like present in the race, just being among everyone, I think will carry me there.
I was just going to say, like, all this, just the self-belief. It's like, man, maybe I'm being too hard on myself. Like, you guys are all just like, nah, dude, this is the move. We're going for it. So I like hearing it personally. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it is such an electric race with everybody on the inside as well. Have you, either of you, done a race like this before with that?
I don't think so. No, but I've like seen videos of this, so in my head I get like what's I? No, but like I'm excited. Yeah, like the energy seems so high.
Yeah, I'm excited. I feel like other than high school, the only meet in college that ever had people like coming onto the infield was Brian Clay, out in LA. So that was always fun, but I feel like this is even just to the next level. So yeah, I'm so excited to lean into that energy.
And how are you looking at the rest of your season after this? Are we like finishing off? Do we have a couple more races planned?
Yeah, no, I actually have a few more. I'm doing an 800 in Pennsylvania next week, and then we'll go back to California, train a little bit more, and then go out to Europe and race a few races there. So yeah, I'm stoked. Usually at this point in the season, I'm like ready to be done, especially just like starting cross country in August last year. Like, it's been a long time. But I kind of had a reset after outdoor NCAAs. I took like a week completely off of running and then got back into racing. So I think that was the kind of reset I needed to carry it through. But yeah, I'm excited to keep going.
I would love to hear you talk about switching your mind from the 800 to the 15 and just like staying in it for that much longer and what that feels like.
Yeah, I definitely have to remind myself a lot to like stay awake. I think, with the mile feeling so long for me, like, it's really easy for those few laps to just kind of like fall asleep. Um, but I think the other thing that I kind of remind myself that's different about like the 8 and the 15 is like the 15, I can be so much more patient. And like, if I'm not right up at the front, like, that's okay. Like, we still have a lot of the race left. While like in the 8, if I'm hitting 600 meters and I'm not really where I want to be, like, it kind of feels like time is running out. So yeah, kind of just remembering that like the race is long, a lot can happen in a mile or 1500 meters. So yeah, just kind of flipping that switch of just like being patient and then ready to go when the kick comes.
I did also rewatch the 2024 trials when you made your first Olympic team. And I feel like patience was the name of the game in that race for you as well. Do you remember when in that race you realized like, oh, the team is right there. Like, I'm in this.
I feel like at about like 500 meters, Nia made a move and I just kind of started to go with her. And I was like, okay, like just attach to her and see what I can do. And then the last 100 meters, like, I was just running for my dear life. And I don't know if yeah, like, I don't even know if there was any time during the race that I was like, oh yeah, I'm making this team. Like, I think I crossed the line and I still was like, I had to like check the board, like see if that was actually my name in third place. So yeah, I don't think it really hit me until after, but.
All right, you guys got any questions for Kaley or Juliette? Alan, what you got, buddy?
Kaley, what was the party like Seattle after Josh Pittsburgh?
Oh, well, it was a week before USA, so it was at our house. Everyone came over and
Houseboat.
everyone came over and watched. We got some just like apple cider to drink. But no, it was so exciting. Everyone was just like, I don't know, like all the feelings were there, and everyone, yeah, we're just like all so happy, obviously for him and the whole team and Brooks, but just knowing, yeah, everything they put in and being there at practice and watching it come together, like I was confident he was gonna do it, and so that was really cool. Just like he's just a gamer, and so just seeing it come together and being with everyone at 7 a.m. was really exciting.
All right, thanks, guys. I think we got one more here, unless anybody else is stumbling in. Luke Hauser, come on up. You ready to go solo?
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me up on my own.
You get it all the focus on you, Lou. But one thing I think a lot of people have questions with you is you're a University of Washington guy. Tons of great milers come out of there. Of course, Andy Powell, but they were good before that too. What's going on up there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was really cool to be a part of that team that won. I got 2 NCAA championships, and Joe Wasson got 2, Nathan Green got 2, so 6 between us over 3 years. It was like an incredible thing to be a part of, just to be on a team that supported each other, and like we were all genuinely like happier that someone else got a title than for our own. So it was super cool to be up there.
Wait, that sounds like a really incredible team dynamic. What are those coaches doing right?
Yeah, I mean, I think they just lead by example. It's Andy and Marisa. They're married to each other. You can see that they're just genuinely good people, and they just lead by example.
And with your situation now in Atlanta, what's your I think I know what you're going to say here, but I'm fascinated. How's the coaching there? Because you've had a lot of success in that program too.
Yeah, it's definitely been a change going from Washington to Atlanta, Georgia. Just like so many things are
It's a
different.
little sticky down there, isn't it?
Yeah, learned what humidity was. So it's definitely been a process and a change. But I think just with my new training group, I think I train with a lot more 800-meter runners. So I've been able to work on my speed, which I think is shown in my closes and races. And I ran 145 for the 800 the first time this year. So I feel like I've been able to really tap into that this in Atlanta.
So they told me we added someone to the panel, and then they're like, oh yeah, he has a world indoor medal. So talk to us about what that was like, achieving that super massive accomplishment this year.
Yeah, that was a crazy experience. It was the 2025 World Indoor Championships in Nanjing, China, which if you haven't heard of it, it's a city of 10 million people in China. I'd never heard of it, but
Wow.
Bigger than New York City then, yeah.
yeah, it was crazy to go out there. It was a new experience for me, but it was my first time on Team USA, so I think I really just had no expectations going in. I wasn't nervous. I was like, anything can happen. So yeah, it was amazing to go and get a bronze medal at the world stage.
Now you've always done, really well indoors and outdoors, but indoors you have a sneaky kind of kick. I was thinking meeting you're going to be the small guy, but you're not. Like, what is it with indoors that you've had so much success?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it's nothing in particular. It's just happened to be what it is, and I think it's a lot tactically. I think I get right indoors, and I think I'm not afraid to go to the front, which is really important indoors. It's hard to pass people on the tight turns, so I think just running fearlessly, which is something I try to do, and going to the front has rewarded me in the indoor track.
Well, you're a newbie to the race here, first timer. You're close in Atlanta, so we're excited to have you here. What do you know about Sir Walter? What are you looking forward to for Friday?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard all about how the atmosphere here is. It seems like I've seen the videos, but I'm excited to see it firsthand for sure.
Tell us about the decision to go with the Atlanta Track Club. When you graduate college, like there's so many groups and options. Why did you go with Atlanta?
Yeah, I think firstly I got in contact with the coach, Tom Novilli. He was a elite steeplechaser back in his day, but he's just a great person and a great coach.
Great guy. Yeah, shout out Tom.
Yeah, so I got to talk to him and then learn more about the Atlanta Track Club itself, which is it's a nonprofit organization that has a lot of programs, hosts a lot of races in Atlanta. You might have heard of the Peachtree Road Race. It's a pretty big one around there. So just like the organization in general also was a big selling point for me.
And how do you keep your like mental game in check coming off of winning that world medal last year? Kind of similar to what I was asking Juliette, like once you make an Olympic team or win a big medal, like there is almost like a added pressure. There doesn't have to be, but sometimes there is. And how do you handle that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that race just showed me I can go and compete with anyone in the world. So I just was able to take that and take confidence from that performance and bring it into all my other races.
Right on. All right, anybody got any questions for Luke? Oh, Alan, again.
Quick.
You buzzed the hair for USA's. How many seconds was that worth?
Wish it was worth a couple more seconds. But yeah, I just wanted to get aerodynamic and cut the hair off. So yeah, it was a split-second decision. You can't undo it, unfortunately.
I feel like the buzz is like what the cool kids are doing.
No, I do enjoy the hair go. I don't regret it.
If you've been in Atlanta in the summer, you'll know why he got his hair like that.
Definitely, yeah.
All right, anything else? All right, let's wrap it up then. Luke, thank you. Thank you to all the athletes. Thank you to Tina and Running Mate for supporting this. Thank you for Hartwell for having us. Thank you to Carl for supporting the women's race and Brooks for supporting the men's race. We will look forward to seeing you guys on Friday night. And all the athletes, come on up. Let's take a picture.